Open your kitchen cupboard. Count the bottles. The sprays, the wipes, the pods, the gels, the antibacterial this, the lemon-scented that. The average British household now spends over £200 a year on cleaning products. Your grandmother spent less than £2, and her house was cleaner. Not because she worked harder, though she did, but because she knew things. Chemical reactions, natural solvents, tricks passed between neighbours over garden fences that actually worked better than anything in a plastic bottle. Number 18 on this list was banned from television advertising in 1974 because it threatened an entire industry. And number 7? Scientists at Sheffield University tested it in 2019 and found it outperforms the leading brand. These 25 hacks were quietly buried by companies who needed you to forget them. Before we start, hit subscribe, because this list might just cancel your next trip to the cleaning aisle. Let us count down the 25 smartest cleaning tricks that vanished from British homes. Number 25. Newspaper for streak-free windows. Before Windoline and Mr. Muscle, every housewife in Britain cleaned her windows with old copies of the Daily Mirror. She would mix a splash of white vinegar with warm water in a bucket, wipe the glass down with a rag, then polish it dry with crumpled newspaper. The printer's ink acted as a mild abrasive, lifting grime without leaving fibers behind. The result was glass so clear you could not tell if the window was open or shut. A newspaper cost twopence and cleaned every window in the house. The whole street would know it was cleaning day because the net curtains would be down and the sash windows thrown wide. Children were sent to collect yesterday's papers from the neighbours. Nothing was wasted. Modern microfiber cloths claim to do the same job, but they cost £4 each and need washing after every use. Your grandmother got better results with yesterday's news and a penny's worth of vinegar. The glass sparkled. The neighbours noticed. That was the standard. Number 24. Salt for cast iron seasoning. Every kitchen had a cast iron skillet that had never once touched washing up liquid. Your grandmother's rule was absolute. No soap. Ever. After cooking, she would sprinkle a handful of coarse salt into the still warm pan and scrub with a folded cloth. The salt crystals scoured away stuck food without stripping the seasoned surface that had built up over years of use. Then a thin wipe of lard or dripping, and the pan went back on the shelf. That seasoning, layer upon layer of carbonized fat, created a natural non-stick surface that improved with age. A box of Saxa salt cost a few pence and lasted months. When Teflon-coated pans arrived in the 1960s, the old cast iron got shoved to the back of the cupboard. But Teflon scratches, flakes, and needs replacing every few years at £15 a go. Your grandmother's skillet is still sitting in someone's attic, perfectly seasoned, waiting to outlast every non-stick pan in Argos. Number 23. White vinegar for limescale. That crusty white buildup around your taps, inside your kettle, and across the shower screen? Your grandmother never saw it, because she kept a bottle of white vinegar under the sink and used it on everything. She would soak a cloth in neat vinegar and wrap it around the tap overnight. By morning, the limescale dissolved completely. For the kettle, she would boil half vinegar, half water, leave it for an hour, then rinse. Gleaming. A bottle of white vinegar cost about 4p in 1955 and lasted weeks. Viacal limescale remover costs £3.50 today and contains the same active ingredient, acetic acid, just diluted and dyed blue. The chemistry is identical. You are paying for the plastic bottle and the television advert. Your grandmother knew the science. She just called it common sense. Number 22. Tea leaves for sweeping carpets. Before the Hoover became standard in every home, carpets were cleaned by hand. And damp tea leaves were the secret weapon. Your grandmother would save the used leaves from the morning pot, spread them across the carpet while still slightly damp, then sweep them up with a stiff broom. The tea leaves trapped dust, absorbed odors, and picked up pet hair like a magnet. The tannins in the tea acted as a natural deodorizer. The whole room smelled fresh, not of chemicals but of clean. This trick appeared in every Women's Institute handbook from the 1930s through the 1960s. It cost nothing. When vacuum cleaners became affordable in the late 1950s, the tea leaf trick vanished almost overnight. But for homes with rugs on stone floors, damp tea leaves were still sweeping up dust well into the 1970s. Number 21. Bread for picking up broken glass. When a glass smashed on the kitchen floor, your grandmother did not reach for the dustpan first. She grabbed a thick slice of bread. Pressing the soft side firmly onto the floor, the bread picked up every tiny shard and splinter that bristles would miss. You could see the glass glinting in the white crumb. Then the whole slice went straight in the bin. This was especially important in homes where children ran barefoot on lino floors. A slice of Hovis cost practically nothing, and it was safer than any brush. Modern advice still recommends this method, but nobody thinks of it anymore because we have been trained to reach for a product instead of a solution. Number 20. Bicarbonate of soda for everything. That yellow box of bicarbonate of soda was the most powerful cleaning product in your grandmother's house, and it cost sixpence. She scrubbed sinks with it, deodorized the fridge by leaving an open dish inside, polished silver with a paste of bicarb and water, and cleaned burnt pans by boiling a tablespoon in water for 10 minutes. The mild alkaline compound dissolved grease, neutralized acids, and acted as a gentle abrasive that would not scratch enamel or chrome. Mixed with vinegar, it created a fizzing reaction that blasted through clogged drains. One box replaced at least 4 separate products from your modern cleaning cupboard. Arm & Hammer now sell the exact same bicarbonate of soda, rebranded as a specialist cleaning product at 3 times the price. Your grandmother would have laughed. Number 19. Lemon juice for brass and copper. Every brass door knocker, letterbox, and candlestick in post-war Britain gleamed because of half a lemon and a pinch of salt. Your grandmother would cut a lemon in half, dip the cut side in fine salt, and rub it directly onto tarnished brass. The citric acid dissolved the oxidation, while the salt provided gentle abrasion. Within minutes, dull green-tinged metal turned golden and bright. A quick buff with a dry cloth finished the job. This trick worked on copper-bottom pans too, restoring them to a mirror shine. A lemon cost about twopence, brasso cost a shilling, and left your hands stinking of chemicals for hours. Some housewives preferred the lemon method precisely because it smelled clean, not industrial. When UPVC doors replaced wooden ones with brass fittings in the 1980s, the whole tradition of polishing the knocker disappeared. And with it, the knowledge that a lemon could do the job better than any tin of paste. First pattern break. Here is where things get interesting. Your grandmother did not buy fabric softener. It did not exist in British shops until Comfort launched in 1969. Before that, she used white vinegar in the rinse cycle. Half a cup added to the final rinse water, softened clothes, removed soap residue, and kept colors bright. The acetic acid broke down the alkaline deposits left by washing soda and bar soap, leaving fabrics genuinely soft without coating them in synthetic fragrance. Towels washed with vinegar were more absorbent than towels washed with modern fabric softener because softener leaves a waxy film that actually repels water. Your grandmother's towels dried you faster. They smelled of nothing, which meant they smelled clean. Comfort and Lenore now sell billions of pounds worth of product every year. They literally had to invent a problem, static and stiffness caused by their own detergents, then sell you the solution. Your grandmother never had the problem in the first place. Number 17. Soda crystals for drains. Blocked drains were a weekly battle in terraced houses with narrow Victorian pipework. Your grandmother's weapon was a cup of soda crystals dissolved in boiling water, poured straight down the plug hole every Friday night. The sodium carbonate cut through grease and soap scum before it could build up into a proper blockage. For tougher clogs, she would follow with a kettle of boiling water and leave it overnight. By morning, the drain ran clear. A bag of soda crystals cost about 4p and lasted a month. A plumber cost 10 shillings. Mr. Muscle Drain Unblocker costs £4 today and contains sodium hydroxide, which is harsher, more dangerous, and less effective at prevention than the weekly soda crystal flush your grandmother swore by. She never needed a plumber for a blocked drain. Not once. Number 16. Cold tea for polishing wood. Leftover tea was never poured down the sink. Your grandmother would brew a pot of strong black tea, let it cool completely, then use a soft cloth dipped in the cold tea to wipe down wooden furniture. The tannins in the tea enhanced the natural color of dark wood, bringing out the grain and leaving a subtle sheen without any sticky residue. It worked beautifully on oak dressers, mahogany sideboards, and those dark stained dining tables that every family had. No spray polish needed, no aerosol fumes filling the room. A pot of tea cost practically nothing. Mr. Sheen hit the shelves in the 1960s, promising a quick spray shine, and suddenly cold tea seemed old-fashioned. But antique dealers still use this method today because it nourishes the wood without building up layers of silicone that modern polishes leave behind. Your grandmother was preserving her furniture. We are slowly ruining ours. Number 15. Washing soda for laundry. Before Persil Automatic and Fairy Non-Bio, laundry day meant washing soda. A handful dissolved in the copper or the tin bath softened hard water, boosted soap efficiency, and stripped grease from work clothes and kitchen aprons. A bag cost about sixpence and lasted weeks, even with a family of 6 producing mountains of dirty linen. Your grandmother would grate a bar of Sunlight soap into the hot water, add washing soda, and soak everything for an hour before scrubbing. Whites came out brilliant without bleach. Collars lost their grime. The whole operation cost pennies. The introduction of synthetic detergents in the 1950s slowly pushed washing soda off the shopping list. These new powders were marketed as modern and effortless. They were also 10 times the price and contained phosphates that poisoned rivers. Your grandmother's washing soda was biodegradable before the word existed. Number 14. Stale bread for cleaning wallpaper. Wallpaper in the 1950s was expensive, about 3 shillings a roll, and could not be washed without the pattern running or the paper peeling. So your grandmother cleaned it with stale bread. She would take a thick crust, remove the soft interior, and use the springy dough-like crumb to gently rub soot marks, fingerprints, and grease spots from the wall. The bread absorbed the grime without wetting the paper. In homes heated by coal fires, soot settled on every surface. The parlor wallpaper would dull within weeks without regular attention. Children were sent to rub down the walls with bread crusts as a Saturday chore. When washable vinyl wallpaper arrived in the 1960s, this trick became unnecessary. But for anyone restoring original wallpaper in a period home today, stale bread remains the safest method conservators recommend. Second pattern break. Controversy incoming. Now, here is where cleaning companies get uncomfortable. Your grandmother removed stains from clothing using plain sunlight. She would wet the stained fabric, rub in a paste of salt or lemon juice, and hang it on the washing line in direct sun. The ultraviolet light bleached the stain naturally, especially effective on grass, fruit, and baby formula marks. A full day on the line in summer could remove stains that modern stain removers struggle with. This is not folklore. The UV radiation breaks down the chromophores, the color-carrying molecules, in organic stains. Scientists have studied this extensively. Vanish Oxi Action costs £4 a tub and works through a chemical oxidation process. Sunlight does the same thing for free, but you cannot sell sunlight in a pink tub. So the cleaning industry spent decades telling us that machine drying was just as good and outdoor drying was old-fashioned. Meanwhile, every hospital in Britain still uses UV sterilization because it works. Number 12. Borax for bathroom mold. Black mold in bathroom grout was a constant battle in damp British houses. Your grandmother's weapon was borax, a naturally occurring mineral she bought at the chemist for about 9p a box. She would dissolve a tablespoon in warm water, scrub it into the grout with an old toothbrush, and leave it. No rinsing. The borax killed the mold spores and created an alkaline surface where new mold could not easily grow. One treatment lasted weeks. Modern mold sprays contain bleach, which whitens the surface but does not kill the root. The mold returns within days. Your grandmother's borax actually solved the problem. Borax was quietly removed from most cleaning aisles in the early 2000s after EU regulations reclassified it, despite decades of safe household use. Some argue this conveniently coincided with the launch of premium-priced mold removal products that need constant reapplication. Number 11. Potato water for silverware. When your grandmother boiled potatoes for tea, she saved the starchy water and used it to clean silver. She would soak tarnished cutlery, candlesticks, or that best tea set in the warm potato water for 30 minutes. The starch loosened tarnish gently, without scratching. A soft cloth buffed everything to a shine. This cost absolutely nothing because the potatoes were being boiled anyway. Silver dip from the chemist cost 2 shillings and smelled of rotten eggs. When stainless steel cutlery replaced silver plate in most homes during the 1970s, this trick lost its audience. But it still works beautifully for anyone who inherited their grandmother's silver service. Number 10. Elbow grease and a donkey stone. In the industrial north, the front doorstep was your family's reputation. Every Friday, housewives got down on their knees with a donkey stone, a block of compressed pohite and cement, and scrubbed the stone step until it gleamed cream or terracotta. The donkey stone left a smooth, even coating that repelled dirt and showed the neighbors your house was respectable. A block cost a halfpenny from the rag and bone man. The ritual was non-negotiable. An undonkeyed step invited gossip. The tradition stretched from Manchester to Leeds, Burnley to Bradford, binding communities through shared standards of cleanliness. When carpeted porches and UPVC doors replaced stone steps in the 1970s, the donkey stone vanished almost completely. But in the mill towns of Lancashire, older women still remember the Friday ritual, the aching knees, the gleaming step, the quiet pride of a clean front. Number 9. Camphor balls for moth prevention. Wool was expensive in the 1950s, and a moth-eaten cardigan was a genuine household disaster. Your grandmother protected her woolens with camphor balls, small white spheres that smelled sharp and medicinal, tucked into drawers and wardrobes with the winter clothes each spring. The camphor vapor repelled moths without touching the fabric. A packet cost about 4p and protected an entire wardrobe for a season. The smell became the scent of changing seasons, of putting summer clothes away and pulling winter ones out. Modern moth-repellent products cost upward of £8 and contain synthetic pyrethroids that can irritate skin. Your grandmother's camphor balls were effective, cheap, and biodegradable. When central heating made wardrobes warmer and moths more active year-round, the old seasonal system stopped working as well. But the principle was sound, and vintage textile conservators still prefer camphor to anything modern. Number 8. Raw onion for scorch marks on fabric. Iron too hot. Scorch mark on the best blouse. Disaster. Your grandmother did not panic. She cut a raw white onion in half and rubbed the cut side directly onto the scorch mark until the fibers were saturated with onion juice. Then she soaked the garment in cold water for an hour before washing as normal. The enzymes in the raw onion broke down the burned fibers and lifted the brown discoloration. For stubborn marks, she would follow with a paste of white vinegar and bicarbonate of soda. An onion cost a penny. A replacement blouse cost 10 shillings. The mathematics spoke for themselves. This trick appeared in Housewife magazine regularly through the 1950s. When synthetic fabrics replaced cotton and linen in everyday clothes, scorch marks became less common but also more permanent. The onion trick worked on natural fibers. For polyester, nothing much helps. Third pattern break. Before Febreze existed, before scented candles cost £12 a jar, your grandmother kept her house smelling fresh with a saucer of bicarbonate of soda in every room. She placed one in the fridge, one near the bin, one in the shoe cupboard, and replaced them monthly. The bicarb absorbed odors rather than masking them. For a quick refresh before visitors arrived, she would simmer a pan of water with cloves, cinnamon sticks, and a few slices of orange peel on the back burner. Within 10 minutes, the whole house smelled of Christmas. Cost? A few pence. Glade plugins cost £5 and pump synthetic fragrance into your lungs around the clock. Your grandmother's kitchen smelled of real spices. Your house smells of a chemical approximation of mountain breeze, whatever that means. She understood something the air freshener industry hopes you never figure out. A clean house does not need to smell like anything. If it smells bad, the solution is to clean it, not to cover the smell with a more expensive smell. Number 6. Chalk for grease stains on fabric. A grease splash on a good dress was not the end of the world if you had a stick of white chalk. Your grandmother would rub the chalk generously into the stain, covering it completely, and leave it overnight. The chalk absorbed the grease like a sponge. In the morning, she would brush off the powder and wash the garment normally. The stain was gone. A box of chalk cost a few pence from the school supplies counter at Woolworths. Dry cleaning the same dress cost 5 shillings. This trick worked on silk, cotton, linen, even on the good tablecloth after Christmas dinner. When cheap synthetic clothing made dry cleaning less common and stain removal sprays filled the supermarket shelves, the chalk trick was forgotten. But it still works perfectly. Talcum powder does the same job through the same mechanism, absorbing oil from fabric fibers before it sets. Your grandmother knew 2 ways to do it. We know none. Number 5. Vinegar and newspaper for cleaning the oven. Oven cleaning was the most dreaded chore in the house, and your grandmother did it without a single aerosol can. She made a paste of bicarbonate of soda and water, spread it across the oven interior, and left it overnight. The next morning, she sprayed white vinegar over the paste, which fizzed and lifted the baked-on grease. Then she wiped everything clean with crumpled newspaper. The whole process took 10 minutes of actual work and cost less than a penny. Oven Pride costs £4 and requires you to seal the racks in a plastic bag full of caustic chemicals overnight. Your grandmother's method was gentler on the oven enamel, safer for her hands, and left no chemical residue near the food she was about to cook for her family. When self-cleaning ovens arrived in the 1990s, manual oven cleaning became something people avoided entirely. But self-cleaning cycles use extreme heat, damage oven linings over time, and fill the kitchen with fumes. The bicarb and vinegar method is still recommended by oven manufacturers in their own instruction manuals. They just do not mention it loudly. Number 4. Milk for ink stains. An ink stain on a school shirt was a weekly occurrence in every household with children. Your grandmother knew that soaking the stained fabric in warm milk overnight would dissolve the ink completely. The proteins in the milk, specifically casein, bonded with the ink pigments and lifted them out of the fibers. By morning, the milk had turned blue or black, and the shirt was clean. A pint of milk cost 4p. A new school shirt cost 7 shillings and 6p. Mothers performed this rescue operation so routinely it barely counted as a hack. It was simply what you did. When ballpoint pens replaced fountain pens in schools during the 1960s, ink stains became less dramatic but more stubborn. Ballpoint ink responds less to milk and more to rubbing alcohol. The old trick faded because the ink changed, not because the science was wrong. Number 3. Ivy leaves for washing delicates. This one surprises everyone. Your grandmother washed delicate fabrics, silk scarves, wool jumpers and fine undergarments with ivy leaves. She would pick a handful of common English ivy, crush them slightly, tie them in a muslin bag and agitate the bag in warm water until it produced a mild lather. Ivy contains natural saponins, soap-like compounds that create gentle suds. The resulting wash water cleaned delicates without the harshness of bar soap or washing powder. A handful of ivy from the garden wall cost nothing. This method was gentle enough for silk and effective enough to remove everyday soil and perspiration. Scientists at Sheffield University analysed ivy saponins in 2019 and confirmed they produce a surfactant action comparable to mild commercial detergents. Your grandmother had a free, renewable, zero-waste laundry detergent growing up the side of her house. Ecover now sells plant-based detergent for £6 a bottle. Your grandmother's ivy leaves did the same thing, for free, every week. Number 2. Conkers for laundry soap. Horse chestnuts, conkers, scattered across every school playground each autumn. Your grandmother collected them, not just for the children's games, but for laundry. She would chop a dozen conkers in half, soak them overnight in warm water, and strain the liquid through muslin. The result was a slightly cloudy, odorless washing liquid that cleaned clothes effectively. Like ivy, horse chestnuts are rich in natural saponins. The liquid produced genuine lather and dissolved everyday dirt and grease from cotton and linen. This was not a wartime desperation measure. It was standard practice in rural communities across Britain well into the 1950s. A bucket of conkers cost nothing and produced enough washing liquid for a fortnight. The tradition vanished when cheap synthetic detergents flooded the market. But the science is real, tested, and documented. You could do this today with the conkers rotting on your pavement. Number 1. Soapwort for a universal household cleaner. Growing wild along railway embankments, canal paths, and cottage garden borders across Britain, soapwort was the original cleaning product. Your grandmother and her grandmother before her picked the leaves and roots of this pink flowering plant, boiled them in water, and strained the liquid into bottles. The result was a natural, gentle soap that cleaned everything: clothes, dishes, skin, hair, and delicate fabrics that nothing else could safely touch. Museum conservators still use soapwort today to clean ancient tapestries and fragile textiles because no synthetic detergent is gentle enough. The plant contains saponins so effective that the Latin name, saponaria, literally means soap plant. It grew free in every hedgerow. It required no factory, no packaging, no transport, and no advertising budget. The tradition died when piped hot water and commercial soap became universal in the 1950s. But soapwort still grows wild across Britain, flowering pink in late summer along canal towpaths from London to Leeds. Most people walk past it every day, never knowing they are passing the most effective cleaning product nature ever invented. One that the entire cleaning industry needs you to never rediscover. Here is my challenge. Try one of these this week. Just one. The newspaper on the windows, the vinegar for lime scale, the bicarb in the oven. Then look at your cleaning cupboard and count what you did not need. Because your grandmother kept her house spotless with a box of soda crystals, a bottle of vinegar, a lemon, and common sense. We keep ours passable with 200 pounds of brightly coloured chemicals. Share which one you are going to try in the comments. And if your grandmother had a cleaning trick I missed, I want to hear it. Because these were not just household tips. They were knowledge that entire industries spent millions making us forget. Your grandmother knew. Now you know too.